We are back, and today we're playing some Warhammer Fantasy. We have 3,000 points of the Demons of Chaos versus the Lizardmen. We are going to be playing a dawn attack scenario today. So we'll move over and we'll take a look at the army lists. Okay, here is the army for the Demons of Chaos. It's almost a complete Khorne army. We have this very old demon prince here. I like to use him as Lakor, so that's who he'll be standing in for. Lakor has a lore master for the lore of shadows, so he'll be having all of those spells. This guy in the middle, he is our model for the Skull Taker. Then we have our Herald of Khorne BSB with the Greater Locus of Fury. This Avatar War model is with the 3 heads is going to be Khorne, the Hound of Khorne. We have a Skull Cannon of Khorne, a Juggernaut pulling this big old Iron Blaster. We have a Soul Grinder of Khorne. 2 units of 30 Bloodletters, each of them with full commands. They're the awesome old furry Bloodletters, all metal. We have 6 Fleshhounds of Khorne. Then we have 4 Skull Crushers. And then we have 8 Furies of Khorne. That is our whole Demon of Khorne army. All right, what are the Lizardmen bringing today?
Okay, for the characters, we got Aslan, who's going to be ethereal, a Scar Veteran, who's going to be our standard bearer, and 2 more Scar Veterans to go with the infantry. Speaking of infantry, got 25 Temple Guard, 2 units of 30 Saurus, 2 units of 10 Skink Skirmishers, 9 Chameleon Skinks, 8 Croxicors, 3 Razordon hunting packs, a Bastildon, and an ancient Stegodon with blowpipes.
Okay. And what spells did the Slan roll up?
He's using Lore of Light. He got Shem's Burning Gaze, Net of Amontok, Banishment, and Birona's Time Warp.
Okay. That is the Lizardmen. Here is a quick look at our table. We're going to set up for the dawn attack, and we'll be right back. Here we are, all set up for the dawn attack. Ready to throw some punches here. For the demons, this is how they ended up rolling a lot of 6s, so I got to choose where a lot of folks deployed. But the Furies ended up all the way over here on the left flank. The Soul Grinder. We have the unit of Bloodletters with the BSB. Because of the Locus of Fury, they're all frenzied. We have the other unit of Bloodletters with the Skull Taker up front. We have the Blood Crushers, Lakor hiding behind the trees, the Fleshhounds, and the Skull Cannon. Khorne is going to ambush, so he's sitting back over off the table. For the Lizardmen, this is where the Chameleon Skinks deployed, trying to take out my Skull Cannon. The Stegodon, unit of Skink Skirmishers, Razordons. All the Saurus ended up in the middle. Block of Saurus with a Scar Veteran. Block of Temple Guard with the BSB. More Skink Skirmishers. Block of Saurus with the Scar Veteran. Bastildon, Croxigors, and the Slan up on top of the pyramid. So that is where we sit, and we will roll to see who goes first. See you at the end of turn 1. We almost forgot to roll for our Mysterious Forest. These Fleshhounds are sitting in a Blood Forest. These Skink Skirmishers are sitting in a Wildwood. And this unit of Skink Skirmishers is also sitting in a Blood Forest. So we have some mysterious trees on the table. So we will see who's still sitting in those forests after turn 1. Okay, the Lizardmen chose the demons to go first. This is where we sit at the end of demon turn 1. Uh, Basically, all the demon units moved up. Be'lakor found a new block of trees to hide behind. Over here, the Phlegm Bombardment missed its target. The Skull Cannon took 1 wound off the Stegodon over there. So every little bit helps against a Stegodon. And Be'lakor, with using the Pendulum spell, killed 5 Saurus off that unit of Saurus. So this is where we sit. Demons are gaining ground, and we will switch it over to the Lizardmen for their turn 1 in our game of Dawn Attack. At the end of Lizardmen turn 2, this is where it sits at. Shots, a lot of different blowpipe shots, took 2 wounds off the Skull Cannon. The Skink Skirmishers did a wound to the Fleshhounds. The Razordons did 2 wounds to the Blood Crushers. Over here on this side of the board, the Slann banished 4 Bloodletters away from this unit, and then he caught the Furies up in the net of Amentok. So over on this corner, the Lizardmen have really put the demons in a difficult position, because those Furies being stuck right there is really going to screw a lot of things up. So we will see what the demons can do to respond to this as we go off the demons turn 2. End of demons turn 2, and this is how the board looks. We have over here the Fleshhounds charged the Skink Skirmishers, killed them and overran into the Stegodon. The Blood Crushers charged the Razordons, broke them, but couldn't quite catch them. Be'lakor flew over behind the Lizardmen lines, and Karanok showed up behind them as well. Over here, the Reign of Chaos, the Dark Prince Thirsts hit the Furies and killed a couple of them. And we decided that it was better to charge the Kroxigors than be charged by them. I did 4 wounds to the Kroxigors, and they did 3 wounds to me. So I'm not quite sure that was an even combat, but with those Furies being stuck there, it was either charge or be charged. So it is what it is. The 2 big units of Bloodletters are just waiting to see when the best time to get into combat with those Saurus is. But apart from that, not much happened in Magic. But it could still be anybody's game. Definitely the right flank is looking in favor of Khorne right now, but if that Stegodon has a good turn, those puppies are going to go bye-bye. So we will see you after Lizardmen turn 2, and we'll get you up to date. End of Lizardmen turn 2, and this is where it stands. The Slann hit this unit of Bloodletters with a Shem's Burning Gaze, and I think he killed off 4 or 5. He then hit these guys with a Banishment and killed off a couple more. The Bastillodon charged the Furies in the flank, wiped them out, overran, and landed right there in front of the Bloodletters. The Soul Grinder and the Kroxigors are continuing to trade wounds back and forth. The Soul Grinder actually did win that combat by 1, but the Steadfast Kroxigors held it together. The Temple Guard reformed over there to face Be'lakor and Karanok. Not sure if I'm tempted yet to take the bait on that one, but we'll see. Over here, Chameleon Skinks also plucked off a couple more Bloodletters from this unit. The Fleshhounds that overran into that Stegodon, we actually did 2 wounds to the Stegodon that turn, so that wasn't too bad, and he only did 2 wounds to the 3 wounds to the Fleshhounds. They had 1 wound on them already. And over there, those Skinks failed to rally and are just at the table edge. So this is where we stand. Still looking pretty good for the Lizardmen. They still have 3 very healthy blocks of Saurus there, and their magic is doing pretty good for them. We'll see what the demons can do on turn 3. All right, end of demon turn 3. We got some good and some bad. Okay, so over here on this flank, the Stegodon and the Fleshhounds are still throwing wounds back and forth. I don't think we put any more wounds on the Stegodon, but we did hold there, so that was nice. Those Blood Crushers over there, they're not really on the table. They chase the Razordons off the table, so we'll bring them back on the next demon turn. Over here, this unit of Bloodletters charged that unit of Saurus, and with some help with some magic from Lakor, they were reduced to toughness 1. So we beat them, and but we couldn't catch them after they broke. Over here, Lakor and Karanok did decide to take the bait. They were hit with enfeebling foe, so their strength was reduced by 1. We did win that combat, but they were steadfast and held, so I'm hoping that that wasn't a mistake. Over here, the Bloodletters did manage to take out the Bastillodon that had overran into them. The only problem is they're frenzied and they had to pursue or had to overrun. So that's left them in this horrible situation because the Croxagores did wipe out the Soul Grinder this turn. So now they're staring those Bloodletters down. So that's going to be really bad next turn. So this is where it's at. Definitely an interesting game so far. As we head into Lizardmen turn 3, this could be one of those situations where this could be a make or break turn for both sides. So we'll see you guys on the other side of Lizardmen turn 3 and catch you up. Okay, end of Lizards turn 3. And it is rough for the demons. As expected, the Bloodletters got the hammer and anvil from the Saurus and Croxagores. They almost wiped out that unit. We did manage to get a really good leadership role and lost 2 more, but they took out more than half that unit in combat alone. Over here, Lakor and Karanok pounded on that unit, but they were steadfast, so they held. The unit of Saurus over here rallied. Not much happened in magic, but these skinks pumped a lot of shots into that unit of Bloodletters and took off a bunch more of them. And over here, the Stegodon finished off the Fleshhounds and is waiting for the Blood Crushers to come back onto the table. So that's where we're at. We are in a tight spot here for the demons. We're going to try at least one more turn and see where we're at in this. But I think the Lizardmen are close to having this game. All right, we'll see you guys at the end of Lizardmen turn, or I'm sorry, Demons turn 4. Oh, one thing we did forget to mention last turn, the Skull Cannon blew itself up. It got a misfire and blew itself up. So that's where he went. He just vaporized back into the warp. All right, on to Demons turn 4. Okay, this is how it sits at the end of Demons turn 4. Not a good turn at all for the Demons. So over here, Lakor got off both the Miasma and the Toughness spell onto that unit of Saurus. The Bloodletters and the Skulltaker beat them up pretty bad, but they held there because of Steadfast. Over here, we had an odd situation. The Lakor killed so many that it pulled Karanok out of the combat. But then the Scar Veteran, in a brave move, snuck 2 wounds through into Lakor. But because of the standard and the battle standard and the 2 wounds, they ended up winning the combat by 2, and Be'lakor failed his leadership test and poofed himself back into the warp. So then the what's left of the Temple Guard and Karnak are both out of combat, sitting there staring at each other. So that was a pretty wild combat. Over here, the Kroxigors and the Saurus ended up wiping out that unit of Bloodletters, and they have reformed to face up on what's left of the Demons. The Blood Crushers came back, but they're staring down the horns of a Stegodon who still has quite a few wounds left on him. So at this point, with no wizard and looking at a big block of Saurus and another unit of Kroxigors coming in, the Demons are going to go ahead and concede this one in favor of the Lizardmen. It was a really fun game. Definitely a wild ride up and down. We had some good combats. We had some fun magic, but magic that wasn't overpowering. So it was just a good game all around. Anything you want to add?
I definitely have some favorites on this time around. I definitely really like the 8-man unit Kroxigors. They managed to get past the Furies and deal with the Soul Grinder. And I also like the Skinks. They definitely pumped out a lot of shots this game.
Yeah.
Picking off various demons and stuff.
Yeah, I was very pleased with Be'lakor myself. I liked taking him. It was nice. He was a nice way to get magic into a Khorne list without going to one of the other gods. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, he was definitely a beast. I feel like even without magic, he's a bit of a challenge to kill.
Yeah. That extra 4-up ward save he gets was definitely nice. And then, of course, with Lore Master, Lore of Shadow, Shadow has some nice stuff that can mess with your enemy's abilities, which is pretty much what kept those Bloodletters there in the game, was just messing with those Saurus for 2 turns in a row. I was a little disappointed with the Skull Cannon. That's the second game we've played with him where he's blown himself up. That's kind of a downer.
Yeah, when I used him, he blew up turn 1.
I would have liked to have seen the Soul Grinder do more, but he was just in a tough situation. It was either charge the Kroxigors or get charged by them, so that's about all he had to do. But otherwise, it was a lot of fun. It was nice to get the Khorne Demons out on the table. The Furies kind of got stuck in the middle, but I was surprised with the Fleshhounds. The Fleshhounds came in, and I did not expect them to do any wounds to that Stegodon, so that was neat. And Karnak was fun. I'll definitely take him again. He was a nice surprise. What did you think about him popping up in your backfield?
Honestly, if my Temple Guard didn't reform, they probably would have been in a bit of a worse situation.
Yeah, I don't know if your Temple Guard hadn't reformed. I don't know if I would have charged Be'lakor into their back. I may have just charged Karnak into the back and let him just disrupt them, and maybe kept Be'lakor flying around casting spells. But you turned him around, you offered the challenge, so I accepted it, and it was what it was. He came really close to wiping out that unit, so I have no regrets there.
And at least it kept him from letting loose direct damages and magic missiles.
That's true. Yeah, he could have thrown Pit of Shades around a bit, which would have been rough for Lizardmen, but that's not as much fun to actually go up against. All right. So this is a good one. This is a Lizardman victory. The Demons may go back into the warp, but they're never truly defeated. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.